Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors. We know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. And let's face it, we all want financial freedom and security. But so few of us have actually been taught how to build long-term wealth while still earning an income. The truth is, owning rental property is the best, most effective way to increase your income and build legacy wealth fast. Guys, I'm David Dodge, and on this show, you will discover how to take control of your finances and make your money start working for you. I am here to show you how to build long-term wealth and cash flow while paying less in taxes through owning rental properties. Stop trading your time for money and get off of the transaction treadmill. Let's get started. Guys, today I will be speaking with my good friend, Matt Kamp from Deal Machine. I love Deal Machine. It is the best driving for dollars software on the planet. It is the best tool for new real estate investors that are looking to talk to sellers and find distressed properties. Let's jump in. Matt, how are you doing today, brother?
Doing great, man. Excited to be on, pumped to talk with you, and always have a great time hanging out. So thanks again.
Oh, man, I'm happy that you're here, Matt. I love it. I love Deal Machine. Been using this app for, I would say every bit of 5 years at this point, maybe longer. And some of my biggest wholesale deals have come from using this app. And I don't even know how many rental properties I bought using this app. If I were to guess, Matt, I would say at least 30 to 40.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. Maybe 50 rental properties were purchased from my driving for dollars efforts using Deal Machine. So for anybody that's listening, that's new to real estate investing, that's not already using this app, Matt, tell us some of the features and some of the reasons why you should look into getting Deal Machine and using it in your business.
Yeah, appreciate you teaming me up. And again, love coming on here, especially, this group is always very excited to get out there, take action. They're educating themselves. In the end, we're a tool to enable your success, but you still got to go out there and take action and use the thing. So, everything that we build is to make it easier for you guys to succeed, for you guys to find those deals. I know when you ask hey, why Deal Machine? Why start there? I'd say, one, our mission is to really help everyone leverage the power of real estate. And our goal for that is, in today's market, it is insane to try to find a deal. If you go on market, demand is at all-time, highs, inventories at all-time lows. You'll see I know if you look at even things like, the Zillow data, if you look at, compared to 2 years ago, you're down over 40% in inventory versus 24 months ago. You see these crazy numbers. So going on market to try to find a deal that's going to cash flow, or that's not going to be a competitive deal, that you're going up against a ton of other bids and you're not able to buy at a discount, that is just so difficult to do today. So that's our goal, is hey, let's give you a tool to go out there, to go direct to the seller, to go, build your own list that no one else has. And by doing that, by driving for dollars, that's the way to do that. So we can get into the nitty gritty on how, the action steps to take to do that. But Deal Machine, our goal is to give you the tool to make it as simple and easy as possible to go and make that happen. I know our ratings and reviews were the highest rated mobile app out there for real estate investors. And that's over nearly 4,000 reviews between the App Store and the Google Play Store, over 4.8-ish, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, somewhere in there out of 5 is, the rating. We have over about 130 people on our YouTube channel talking about the deals they've landed using Deal Machine and breaking that down. So we have a ton of case studies we can show, hey, here's how you use that tool. Here's how you land these deals. We have a support team that gets back to you in less than 2 minutes. We have a community of over 10,000 that are helping each other, holding each other accountable, and helping each other get out there and find deals. So everything that we do is focused on you guys, making you more successful, and driving for dollars is the method to go out and take action and have that success.
Man, I love it. You nailed it. So here's the thing: driving for dollars is one of my favorite ways to find motivated sellers. And before I knew about Deal Machine and this amazing app, I was going out and driving for dollars, and I was just jotting down addresses. And then I would take this information back home once I was done, and I would pull property records from the local sales, the local tax information here in my market. And then I was then trying to track these people down. And what you guys have done is you've allowed all of these steps to be done from your mobile device in seconds. So adding properties while you are out driving for dollars has never been easier. You guys have a tap to add feature. It's one of my favorite features, and it will allow me to get out for 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour, sometimes more. But I can add anywhere from 30 to 50 to 100 properties, depending on the area and the neighborhood I'm in an hour or less time. From there, I can send a postcard to these individuals. I can skip trace this information and actually call or text directly from my cell phone, or I can export these leads and this data into other third-party systems for my team to market to these individuals. But not only have you guys sped up the process and made it easier for investors like me, but you've also made it safer. Let me tell you, Matt, prior to using this app, I was in 2 car accidents, minor ones, of course. One just hitting a curb. Another one, I backed into another car while I was out driving for dollars because I was using a pen and paper. And it's very difficult to be focused on driving as well as recording this information when you're writing these things down. Since I've gotten the app, I feel like it's much safer. And of course, it's easier to get this information. And ultimately, it's easier to contact the sellers. That's the name of the game, right? Driving for dollars is the activity in which, and you said this really, really well, in which we build our own list. It's list building, but it's a list that you have to yourself. It's very, very unique to you, right? But even more importantly, then having to market and reach out to these individuals, the app makes it incredibly simple. Another one of the features that I love about it, Matt, is it's tracking where you drive. Why is that important? Well, it prevents you from having to go drive the same neighborhood multiple times. Or maybe you have a team, maybe you have a partner or an assistant, or maybe you've even hired a couple people to go and drive for dollars on your behalf, right? Well, if they are driving the same neighborhoods, that's kind of counterintuitive. That's kind of a waste. So the app actually traces your route, and it even will change colors depending on how long ago you drove those routes. Love it. Absolutely amazing tool. And I'm leaving tons of things out. Tell me some more things that this app
is great.
does.
No, I mean, I love you being able to speak from personal experience like that, because you have used it for so long and you've seen it evolve and seen us continue to add features. I know every 2 weeks we're coming out with new updates from our development team. So we're constantly trying to upgrade this and make you guys more successful. But when you talk about your story of what you used to do for driving for dollars, I mean, that is why our CEO and founder or co-founder, David Lecco, that's why he created the Deal Machine app. That's why he, him and Dave Oster came together and developed this thing, because it was a proven process. Like driving for dollars, that's nothing new. That's been around for decades. It's something that has been replicated over and over again. And it's the number one way that new investors find their first deal, for all the reasons you said, like because you can find these diamonds in the rough, because you can find these deals that aren't being bombarded by all these other competitors, these other investors. You're finding deals that, that only you can find because you're out there putting in the sweat equity to, actually create this list, or you hire a driver to go out there and do that, which you can do that through Deal Machine as well. But, for David, like he himself, he was getting out there. He was in Indianapolis, he was going to local meetups. He was trying to figure out, okay, he was just getting into real estate. He had a tech background, but wanted to get into real estate, had, read Rich Dad Poor Dad. He would listen to Bigger Pockets. He'd, try to educate himself, listen to podcasts like this. And then he'd say, hey, where do I start? What should I do? And he had a bunch of buddies saying, do this driving for dollars thing. And he would go out there and, just like you said, would drive around, hit his little yellow notepad, would try to write down the address, would try to look up info on the owner, figure out what's the situation with this property, try to actually get in contact with them, would, spend all this time driving around and would double back on his routes, would get frustrated there. He would, create a postcard after doing all this stuff and wanted to put a picture on it. So he'd try to go through that, and then he'd write the postcard, he'd send it out. He'd do all this stuff. He'd create a great list, but then the follow through, that marketing to that property owner, somewhere, he would do all this effort and it would only be one time that he would reach out. And then he'd drive back past that property in 3 months and it'd be sold. And he missed out on the deal. And he's like, what is going on? Like, there's got to be a better way here. So for him, it was using technology to automate that process, to make it way easier to just quickly tap to add all these different properties that you're driving around and finding, do it in a safe way. Like you said, where our most successful Deal Machine members, they're pulling over, they're adding it, they're calling them, they're skip tracing on the spot to be able to get information to reach out to that property owner, which you can do one-off skip traces with us. They're sending a mailer right on the spot. That's in the Deal Machine app. You just hit send mail and it can automatically sends a postcard to that property owner. So you've got one-off mail right there as well through Deal Machine. They're doing all of that right on the spot. And David turned, this 30, 40-minute process per property into a few seconds. So, being able to go through that, that's where Deal Machine was born. Started that a few years ago, 2016, 17, and then, have had over 200,000 investors downloaded at this point too, and join and start to use technology to make their processes more effective like that.
Man, 200,000 investors. Holy cow. That is amazing. I love hearing that, because what that means to me and what that tells me is that this software is awesome and it works, but B, it's helping tons of people find deals, maybe their first deal, or in my case, my next deal. I absolutely love it. So some of the features, guys, is real-time routes with the mobile map, as well as a tap to add. It traces you as you go. There are smart property filters. So as you're driving, if you want to highlight properties that are vacant or high equity or absentee owned, you can. And really what that does is it kind of allows you to look through a different lens. So when we're driving for dollars, and we didn't even mention this, but when we're out driving for dollars, we are looking for properties that are physically distressed, right? We are not pulling a list per se of people that are having a distressed situation in their life, which is also another great tool or method to find motivated sellers. What we are looking for is properties that are distressed. So some examples of what a distressed property might look like would be, having tall grass, very, very simple, very basic, having landscaping issues or neglected landscaping, maybe a tarp on the roof or a tree leaning against the house. It could be boarded up windows. It could be gutters hanging off the house. It could be peeling or chipping paint, right? Any sign of distress is going to essentially make for that property to be a good property to market to, the seller of that property, the owner of that property, to market to that individual. Now, if we can look through a lens now to also see the properties that are vacant or absentee owned or have high equity or other things as well, now we're not only seeing the physical aspects of the property that are distressed, but we might also be able to look into the life of the owner and see if there are other reasons that they may be distressed. So driving for dollars is one of my favorite tools. I love doing it. I do it weekly. And again, it has produced some of my biggest wholesales. Matt, one of my wholesale deals from driving for dollars netted me $103,000.
Amazing.
Just driving for dollars, man. It's amazing. And dozens of rental purchases from this tool. Matt, tell us a little bit about the list builder.
Yeah, I was going to mention, so you talked about, pulling a list, so there's kind of two different ways you can go about building that list of really motivated sellers. And, for us, we wanted to make technology to address both of those ways based on your particular situation. So driving for dollars, that is the number one way that newbies find deals. The reason being that you're getting out there, you're finding these properties like you said, Dave, of, hey, there are physical signs of distress. They're not going to just show up on some list. You have to go out and find them yourself, or, bring someone on to drive for you and find them. I'd say that's the number one way. I mean, that's it's the lowest cost way, biggest bang for your buck, because you're going to have you're going to need less leads on your list to market to land that first deal. So we see on average, you need a couple hundred leads. So if you go out there, you make some time, you say, okay, I'm going to drive around, find a couple hundred properties in my area. On average, that's what's going to get you that first deal, is around that ballpark. We have people who do the 7-day free trial and land a deal. We have somebody we just interviewed on our YouTube channel recently that did that. You don't want to set wrong expectations. It can happen, but they said, to be able to find consistent deals, it's okay, let's find a couple hundred leads to be able to land to that first deal.
Sure.
So, I'd say driving for dollars, you only need that to get out there. It's going to be the biggest bang for your buck, because if you have that many leads, you're going to, want to skip trace and get in touch with them that way, call, text, email, door knock, whatever the method might be. Or you want to send mailers to them. And, through Deal Machine, we can just automatically send mailers and send one every couple of weeks or once a month, every couple of months. You can set that within Deal Machine. And those two things combined are the ideal marketing mix to get on someone's radar. So driving for dollars, you've got that. It's going to require less marketing budget to get in touch with that owner. If you're just going to go out and pull a list, that's our list builder option. That's if you don't have the time to go out and drive, but you have a little more marketing budget. If you have a little more money than time, go with that option, because you can go in, you can quickly filter out a particular area and say, hey, show me everything on this block or this neighborhood or this city that fit this very specific criteria. You can say, high equity that hasn't sold in XYZ years. And, you could say absentee, you could say vacant, you could say, whatever criteria you want to go in there and filter. We've got a few quick hit lists for you to make it easy to say, here's 6 or 7 just good motivators to start with. But you can go in and just quickly pull a list that way and start marketing the property owners that way. So that way, again, it's going to take more marketing touch points. It's going to take more mail and more calls to be able to get in front of them, because anyone can go pull a list, right? Like any investor can do that more easily than they can driving for dollars and building a list. But that being said, you can still do that all from your desktop, start marketing to them. If you put a little bit more marketing budget aside and be able to run that way. So we've got driving for dollars, we got list builder. One thing that I will say that we see people having a ton of success with is the combination of those two things.
Oh yeah.
So when you said, hey, you can pull a list or you can go drive a list, you can also, in addition, you can pull a list, whether it be through Deal Machine or any other, list that you have from the city or other technology or whatever else you're getting lists from. You can import that list in Deal Machine now. And right there, you can go to that list inside Deal Machine and say, drive this list. And when you hit drive this list, it's going to import your GPS right into your mobile app and show you the fastest way possible to drive that entire list. It'll say, hey, go here, go here, go here, go here. And it'll even show you, it's going to take you an hour to drive this list. Or it's going to take you 30 minutes or whatever, it'll tell you ahead of time. And that way, if you go through, if you have one list that's a motivated seller list in some form or fashion, you have that list for whatever the motivating criteria was. And then you go out and drive that list in addition to that, you're going to find physical distress, as you're doing that, and you're going to have these other, motivating factors. Those two together are going to show you your hottest leads, your leads that are the most likely to be ready to sell and move, or, be in a situation where they don't want this property. And you can go in and dial in your marketing dollars, dial in your time and say, okay, here's how I'm going to land more deals for less time and less money, because I'm picking out the highest, scored leads out of my entire list that I've got here. So, that those two together, we've seen people have a ton of success with.
Matt, those two together make for the most amazing tool, right? I love getting out and driving for dollars, finding those distressed properties. And then, like you had mentioned, sending one-off mail postcards to them, or maybe even putting them on a drip where they get 5 or 6 postcards, every 3, 4, 5 weeks, something along those lines. The instant skip tracing is amazing. I love getting out of my car and knocking on doors when I see really bad properties. And if you can create that list in advance and then go drive a bunch of these, that also is very helpful. But really, one of my favorite things with the list builder too is that you can create smart lists. So if a house becomes vacant or it comes off of the vacant list, it gets added or removed from that list. And then what you can also do is you can set it up to where if a new property gets added to a particular list that you build and design in the app or on the website, it will automatically send them a postcard without you having to actually go drive. So you can, again, you can use both the driving for dollars or the lists and the smart list features to market to these individuals. Matt, Deal Machine is amazing. You got data, you got driving for dollars, you got skip tracing, you have direct mail marketing, you have list builder and smart lists, and lots and lots and lots of ways to go about marketing to these motivated sellers. Marketing to motivated sellers and finding distressed properties, as we know, is the most proven path to financial freedom. How? Well, when we find discounted properties, we can go talk to these individuals and we can offer to help them by selling that property to us. So what we're really doing, guys, is we are exchanging convenience for a discount. That's all we do as a real estate investor. We exchange convenience and help them sell the property to us, and we make it very, very easy for them, right? We're often paying cash, we're closing fast, and we're buying these properties as is. That's what makes it convenient for the seller. In exchange, we are demanding. We are not asking, we are demanding a discounted price on these properties for us to come in and buy them and offer all of this convenience. Well, when we get properties at a discount, that leads to creating deals and ultimately a path to financial freedom. So when we get a deal or a discounted property, we now have the option and the ability to go wholesale that. We also have the option and the ability to keep it and fix and flip it within our own team. Or my personal favorite is we now have the option to buy and hold that property. And if we're getting a good discount on it, we can use the BRRRR method and we can do it with little to none of our own money.
Love it.
In the end. It is the most amazing tool to find motivated sellers. And I was telling Matt right before we started this episode, if I was to start over and I didn't have any experience or any rentals or hadn't done any deals, Deal Machine would probably be the first app I would go get because it is cost effective, but also it is loaded with tools and the ability to help you not only find motivated sellers, but get them on the phone and market to them. It is literally the best place to start if you are new and you are trying to get your first deal, or if you are like me and you are trying to get your next 20 rental properties. It also makes for an amazing tool. Now, Matt, before we wrap up today, you guys have a really, really cool offering. If everybody that's listening uses code DAVE, D-A-V-E, when they sign up, they get something. What do they get?
Yeah. So in our goal today, I mean, I know we covered a lot of just exciting tools within, everything that technology can do. A lot of those you'll discover, we've got virtual driving for dollars. We've got our comps. You can hire a driving team. You've got all this stuff that you'll be able to figure out as you go. The basic playbook is, hey, go out there, build that list by driving for dollars or list builder, market to that list by skip tracing and mailing to them, and then consistently follow up with that list. And that means automatically send them mailers every so often, and make sure you're following up with those leads. So if you follow that 3-step framework and, run with what we're giving you guys today, we want to set you up with the, everything that you need to be able to go out there, land that first deal, land those next deals, and grow from there. So I know if you use promo code DAVE, D-A-V-E, you get a 7-day free trial. So you can go out there, for free, start using it, try it out, get used to it. I know, again, we've had people, multiple people land deals during that 7-day free trial. So, hopefully you're the next one that we're interviewing on our YouTube channel. When you go out there and you actually land that first deal, make sure to reach out to me directly. Matt, M-A-T-T @dealmachine.com is my email. Reach out to me and would love to interview you and give you a spotlight and show off like, hey, here's what you're doing in your local market and help build your brand credibility there too. But, you get a 7-day free trial. And then for using that promo code, you get a much better deal than you would going through our site. You get 100 free skip traces. So you can go out there and start having 100 conversations direct with these owners as you're finding those properties. You can, skip trace and then call, text, email right on the spot right there. Or you can do 25 free mailers through your promo code as well. And that way you can start to send those mailers. You can, call, reach out through the skip trace and then send that follow-up direct mail if they don't answer, and just do that, rinse and repeat, and, start to get out there, land that first deal. And, again, reach out to me when you do, and would love to be able to feature you as well. But wanted to hook you guys up with everything that you need for free to go land that first deal with us.
Matt, that is amazing. So if they use code Dave, DAVE, they're going to get a 7-day free trial. They're also going to get $15 worth of deal credits, which essentially means 100 free skip traces or 25 pieces of mail for free included with that trial. So they can open up 100 conversations with motivated sellers or start sending some mail to get their phone to ring for free included with that free trial. Guys, check that out. Do not miss this opportunity. Use code Dave when signing up. This is by far the best app on the planet for real estate investors. Driving for dollars, skip tracing, direct mail, property data, comps, lists, automated mail sequences, you name it. Matt, thank you so much for coming on and sharing awesome information and value with our listeners. And guys and girls, I hope you have enjoyed today's podcast and found a ton of value in this episode. If you are interested in creating wealth through rental properties, using the BRRRR method, and achieving financial freedom in your life, go check out wholesalinginc.com/rentals. Check out what the program is all about and schedule a call with my team. On the call, we will discuss your real estate investing goals and how BRRRR method mastery can help you get there. I would love to help you get started on your way to generating passive income and creating legacy wealth with rentals. Every single one of you is capable of success. And more importantly, you are worthy of it. Thanks for listening. Signing out.